All right, hey, welcome everybody. Coach Kelley over at Cedar Hill. I'm the running backs coach. Coached everything from, D-line to running backs to linebackers to DBs, corner safeties. I've done all that, but what I'm going to talk to y'all about today is my time as a DC. When I ran our 4-2-5 Run Fits Simplified and breaking it down everything to 4 simple rules and really teaching your guys and the pedagogy to make your defense much simpler than a lot of people try to. Like I said, people always talk about pre-snap gap, post-snap gaps. They talk about, all the different varieties of formation. I'm not going to over-teach it. I'm going to try and teach my defense the best way that I can, make sure my kids are pursuing the football, doing their responsibility after they check their assignment, and then get into the football so that way it's simplified for them. I don't want them thinking, I want them playing. Again, shameless book plug. I just recently wrote Simplified 4-2-5. Talks about the whole defense. It's got the run fits, the coverages, so the blitzes I called, to even how I broke down some different types of offenses we're going in game planning. So, again, I'll have my contact info at the very end, and, we can talk about it. You guys can contact me anytime if you want to get the rough draft or the final draft whenever it's done. Just go ahead and let me know. So, again, we're going to talk about 4-2-5 Run Fits Simplified, okay? A couple things go into this. My thought process, sitting back there, just after a bad season. We were attacking 3-4 defense. I say attacking because I just blitzed from everywhere, and, we kind of got our butts kicked. So we go into the next year, still in the 3-4, but then we have issues, so we end up going to this 4-2-5 defense mid-season. Spoke with a bunch of coaches, spoke with a bunch of different coaches from around, high school, college coaches, and I came across this one that broke it down pretty simply, and then I put my own spin on it, my adaptation to it, because, again, all coaching is stealing, basically. We're all using the same ideas. But, again, it's my whole thought process went into keep it simple, stupid. And my last school I was coaching at the inner city, I didn't have the opportunity to get kids that have played football their whole lives. Okay, most of my guys started when they were freshmen in high school. Maybe if we were lucky, they were middle schoolers when they started playing, maybe 8th grade. But again, they weren't playing since Pop Warner, like half the country is. So, we had to try and figure out how to get them to play great team defense quickly, teach them the game quickly. So we broke down our defense into a couple of different rules, but again, it always came down to keep it simple, stupid. Okay, don't overthink it. We wanted to look complex and unpredictable, but again, we're staying in our same rules. We're going to move around. We're going to do a lot of pre-snap movements. We're going to do different stuff, just to look complex. Because again, everybody thinks about, I gotta out-scheme the coach on the other side. You really don't. You got to beat that 17-year-old quarterback. You got to beat that 18-year-old running back. You got to beat that maybe 16-year-old center. Who knows? But you're not playing the other staff. You're playing the kids. You're using your kids, and you don't have to outsmart the other guy. You have to outsmart that 17-year-old. So, again, with pre-snap movements and, keeping your base rules same but showing a lot of different movement stuff pre-snap, it makes your job a lot easier, and you're going to get an advantage on the other ones, on the other teams that are trying to out-scheme coaches. Again, we always talk about aggressive and pursuing the ball carrier. You have your assignment on defense, but then you have your responsibility. Okay, you have your assignment. If I'm the Mike and I got a 3 technique, I got my A gap. That's my assignment. My responsibility is to check that assignment and pursue this football. So I don't want you to come to the sideline. Maybe they ran a power toss and they scored from 80. And I talked to the Mike, what happened? Well, coach, I was in my A gap. That doesn't do us any good. You need to check and secure your gap and pursue that football. That's your responsibility. So, again, we're going to try and make them aggressive in pursuing the ball carrier and knowing their assignment versus the responsibility. And, again, the best position possible. You want to train them how to make the play. Again, we weren't the most blessed athletically. We weren't the most blessed with kids that have played football forever. So when you simplify your scheme, all of a sudden now, instead of working 100 different checks for 100 different formations, 100 different times, now you get to take your scheme, rep it week after week, with the similarities that you already have, similarity from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4. It's all the same. Now you get to rep how to make the plays. How are your kids going to be in position? If I got to attack with my inside shoulder, keep my outside arm free, I'm going to work on attacking, keep my outside arm free, and making the play and making sure that I'm cleaning that ball inside. Okay, now I get time to actually rep this. I'm not spending all day on scheme. I'm going to rep football plays because we play football. Okay. How to call this defense? I always put this in there because, everybody asks me. I split the coverage in the front calls. I was blessed when I started running this. I had a great defensive backs coach. I let him call all the coverages, okay, because our coverage strength, our passing strength, and our run strength were different. Linebackers called the front strength. The corners and the safeties called the defensive strength and the passing strength in the back. So we split that up, and obviously we had a bunch of input, a lot of conversations, but I was comfortable with the front. He controlled all the back stuff. Then the next year, he actually went and got a different job. So I started having to call them separate, but I called them. So I would call the front, and then, I'd have the secondary coach over there. I'd have him signal in the coverage call. I was still calling the coverage call, but it was through the headset. But again, the same idea still remained. The kids never knew. They thought it was 2 different calls. So again, I put in here, you got 4 front calls, you got 5 D-line stunts, you got 6 blitzes, and you got 4 coverages. Okay? That is 86 different possibilities that you could show to an offense, to a quarterback. That's 86 different possibilities. So now if you mix and match those, you're showing 86 different looks. That's also 86 different things that, your other guys have to account for. The other coaches have to account for everything that you do as they see it. But again, you're just repping the same thing, your same rules, and we're going to talk about here in a second. And again, reps and high-intensity practice. Again, we're able to get a lot of reps, and we're going to do it fast, and we're going to do it like our hair is on fire, what every defensive coach in America says. But we're going to get a bunch of reps on the stuff that we're going to be doing in games. We don't have to worry about getting a bunch of different checks, seeing a bunch of different formations and how it changes our rules, because our rules are going to stay the same. Okay, again, these are our daily practice habits before we get into the rules. Again, these are some of the things that you could do. Again, we're going to tackle. We're going to communicate. We're going to rep every call. We're going to work some block destruction drills, and we're going to work some pursuit drills. I'll actually come back to these specific drills when we get there, because I'd rather jump to the rules first. But again, I just want you to understand that when you simplify your scheme, you're able to actually rep the in-game moments, I guess, or pictures that you wouldn't be able to before. If you need to work tackling and your team wasn't a great tackling team the year before, simplify your scheme so now you have more time to work on your tackling. If you worked on your checks for 45 minutes a day in practice, and you take those checks and you simplify your rules, get them aligned up, and you can do that in 20 minutes, well, that's an extra 25 minutes you can work tackle or whatever you need to fix. If it's pursuit, then you still got that option. But again, we're going to work all these every single day because we don't have to sit there and beat our head against the wall for scheme. And again, tackle circuit number 2 and turnover circuit. I'll come back to that if we got time. Okay, so again, no matter the formation or the alignment, these are our 4 rules for our defense. If you're a defensive lineman or a linebacker, you are always a spill player. Your job is to spill that ball to the outside of the cup. On the diagram below, you see the blue, the blue C. That is the cup. If anything runs inside there, it is automatically the defensive line and the linebacker's fault. They didn't fit their gap. They didn't use their technique. They are a spill player. That ball needs to bounce. If it's trying to hit inside A, it better bounce to outside C. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. If it's supposed to hit front side A, if it's supposed to hit, where this 3 technique is, if it's supposed to hit in this B gap right here, that ball better bounce to A, to B, to C, or from B to C to D, whatever it is. That ball cannot be run up the middle. If you're able to stop the run inside the tackles, you're going to be in great shape when it comes to, playing great team defense. Okay, the strong and the weak safety. Again, I call it strong safety. He's more of an outside linebacker type. The weak safety, he's a guy that can go forward and backwards. Okay, he can play the coverage. He can play deep half. He can play 2 read bombs, whatever. But he could also come up and play that outside linebacker role if I want to roll single high or if I want to stay in single high. As you see, my favorite response to 2x2 is actually single high. But their rule against the run, no matter what, is clean. Okay, so this is part of the pedagogy of it, man. I got D-line and linebackers. Again, they're always bigger guys. Okay, I even make jokes. I'll call them the fat guys. Okay, so I talked to those two outside linebacker types, the strong safety and the weak safety, the two DBs, if you want to make them feel fast. I say, all right, guys, okay, these D linemen, these linebackers, they don't know how to eat now. Okay, they don't know how to eat. They make a bunch of messes, and they're going to spill, and it's going to spill right to you. Your job is to clean that spill and keep it from getting outside of that cup, because if it gets outside the cup, we're screwed. Okay, there's a big old mess, and it's going – a mess on defense is 6 points. So, again, we're going to tell them you need to get to the top of that cup and clean that mess of the fat guys that they made that spill. Okay, our free safety, he's going to run the alley in between the spill and the clean players. He's going to make sure he's fitting inside in case there is a little bit of daylight in there as the running back's going to step up or the ball carrier's going to step up. The free safety is going to be the unblocked guy ready to clean it up. He's always he's going to run the alley and make sure that he takes any hit he can, because he should be unblocked. There's no scheme that accounts for a free safety. So, again, we're going to tell them that, and they got to be able to ready to fly downhill. They got to make sure that they got deep third, or if we're in too high, if we're in too high and we're running palms or two read, they got to be able to make sure that they can play the pass. But I still expect them to run that alley, make them come down and make a play. And, again, corners, your job is always going to be to cover. I don't want you coming up and run because, again, if you're coming up in the run, we're in trouble. If you know 100% that ball is not being thrown in the air, then you can come up and make a play. But your first reaction should be backpedal. If I got you tilted, you should be shuffle, ready to run and get your hips open. Once you know that ball's cross line of scrimmage can't be thrown, then that's fine. Go ahead, make a play on the run, okay? Go ankle bite them if you want. But, again, we're going to make sure that we rep these 4 rules: spill, clean, alley, cover. When I get day 1 of spring install, I'm going to get with the D-line and the linebackers. What's your job? Spill. If they say anything else, they're wrong. Strong weak safety. What's your guys' job? Clean the fat guy, spill. Free safety, alley. Corners, cover. If they say anything other than those 4 words, they have done something terribly wrong. And, again, that's 4 words. When I did one of these clinics, somebody got on me and said, you can't have 4 rules for your defense. There's pre-snap gaps. There's post-snap gaps. There's motion changes. Okay, whatever. But I coach high school football. Okay? I coach high school football. I can teach these 4 rules. I'm not going to bombard my players with a whole bunch of stuff, because when your players are thinking, they're not playing. They're not moving fast at all. They're thinking. They're trying to diagnose stuff. Their feet are still. Their mind is moving, but their feet ain't. Their body ain't. They're not getting to the play. I'm not about that. And I want them to check secure their gap, and then go pursue their responsibility and get to the football. All right, so again, formation and calls will not change our run fits. Okay, so you see I got a little too high look right here against the same formation, 2x2. We'll say that this is the boundary right here because this is where the weak safety is. But here are the rules, okay? D-line and linebackers, what's your job? Spill. Spill that ball to the outside. Strong safety, weak safety, what's your guys' job? Clean the fat guy, spill. Free safety, even though you're over here on a hash, what happens if the ball's run over here? Well, coach, I better run to the alley to that side. Yeah, I better run the alley. And again, somebody gave me a hard time about this diagram too. I'm just doing it to prove a point. Why would you bounce your free safety over to too high when it's a balanced formation and a run set? Whatever. Okay? I'm just proving a point. Okay? I got my guys, my defensive tackles, my ends, my linebackers. They're all what players? Spill players. Strong safety, weak safety. What kind of players are they? They're clean players. Free safety. What are you going to do? You're going to run the alley. Corners, what are you going to do against the run? Cover. Okay, those are going to be the same rules every time, and your guys will know this like they know the back of their hand. And if you make it that simple where everybody understands their own job, and then you start teaching the totality of the defense, how it works together, your strong safety, if you're in a pinch, can go play that Mike spot. It won't be great. It won't be pretty. Hopefully it happens at the beginning of the week if you're a little low on depth. But now he knows, okay, well, I'm inside the cup, so what do? I'm going to spill. I'm going to spill to the clean guys because fat guys make a mess. I'm a fat guy this week. So, again, Formation and call will not change our run fits. If we call an over front, under front, if we call a heads front, which puts us in two slant of the strength, if we are, we start an over front and we slant weak, our jobs are still the same. We're going to control our gap. We're going to spill that ball to the clean players. The clean players are going to clean the fat guy's spill. And then the free safety is going to run the alley in corners. We're going to cover. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, so again, we got two different looks here. So we kind of got a tray look. Maybe you consider this 20 personnel with twins right here or whatever. But again, we're single high right here. My strong safety and my weak safety are playing a little tight. But I'm okay with it because it's a real run-heavy team, and I don't think they're going to be able to pass the ball on us. But again, we're single high, and we got our rules. Okay, again, let me get the pointer here. Inside the cup. If this ball is a run, they need to control their gap, secure their gap, and pursue the football. These guys, the strong safety and the weak safety, are going to clean the fat guy's mess when that spill happens. Free safety right here. He's playing on the balls with his feet about 12 yards off the football. It's a pretty good spot for him. He's going to be able to run the alley in between the cup and the clean. And then again, corners, cover. I love this dude. He was going to be manned up no matter what. He's going to be pressed up, jelly tight, no matter what. This guy was a sophomore at the time. He was going to play back. So depending on what you guys got, give you guys a little bit of freedom. Okay, let them decide a little bit. Let them have a little bit of freedom, a little bit of ownership in it. Okay, so now here we got a 2x2, and we're going too high right here. Okay, so they got 2x2. The boundaries to this side, so I don't necessarily have to hit this linebacker out. We're going to go too high. Again, I kind of want this strong safety out a little bit, but again, it's the same idea. These guys are still the cut. My linebackers and my linemen. Clean, alley, cover. Two different formations, two different calls. Their rules don't change. They're still going to execute their rules, but their rules do not change depending on the call or the formation. Okay, so for the coaching points again, coaching point for the D-line, spill. We want to make it bounce. Okay, we want to make it bounce. We don't want to let it get downhill because then we're in trouble. So again, basic fundamentals, stance, strike, separate, and finish. Okay, we're going to attack the gap shoulder of the offensive lineman. The hand placement, I don't feel is emphasized enough with defensive linemen at the high school level. We're going to work a violent strike, of course. We want a violent strike with our hands, but our hand placement is just as important. Okay, we want to hit on the inside pec right here, halfway on the midpoint, and we want to hit on that outside shoulder pad of that arm. So if I'm in a 3 technique and I'm on the left side, I'm on the defensive left, my right hand is going to be on the midpoint of that guard, and my left hand is going to be on the outside shoulder pad of that guard. Okay, underneath, where it's got the little gap right here. It's going to be right there, so that way he cannot reach me in my gap. He can't get my gap shoulder, my left shoulder, because his arm is going to be pinned down, and I'm able to keep this in his midpoint, so now I'm working half a man, and I can strike and separate. Okay, and then I can peek into the gap, make sure nothing's coming at me, make sure nobody's threatening my B gap. And then again, I'm going to be able to make a play. My defensive ends, they're tilted. Okay, they have the same aiming point. They want the midline of the man. They want the outside part of the shoulder pad of the man. Yeah, the reason why I tilt my guys in is not because it looks cool, even though it kind of does. I want them to compress that offensive tackle into the B gap. So their aiming points are the same. Midline, shoulder pad. Okay, bam, strike. I'm tilted. I have nowhere to go but forward out of my tilt. Okay, I'm going to strike, and I have better leverage on him than he has on me. So when I strike, I should be able to put him in the gap, extend my arm, separate, and now I'm able to control C gap with my outside arm, and I'm able to stop that B gap from being threatened because I got an offensive tackle's big can sitting in there. So again, that's why we do it a lot. And everybody's different strokes for different folks. It's worked for us. Okay, it's worked for us. Okay, so again, we got a little bit of film. Y'all watch Big 58. This was Alejandro Macias. Okay, he was a big fella for us. He did a good job. He strikes. He's playing a little high, but he's doing exactly what we asked. He strikes. The hand placement, I want the outside hand a little bit on the outside of that shoulder pad. But he strikes with violent hands, good hand placement, separates, makes a play. He He was 350 pounds. I had to tell him to cut a little weight so he could play on Friday nights. But he was a heck of a ball player. Strike, separate, make a play. Okay, my defensive ends, we kind of talked about it. He better get hands on this tackle. He can't get a free down block. He does a good job taking this H on when they're trying to run some power scheme. They're trying to run a little quarterback power, but he needs to be better. Okay, quarterback lead. Excuse me. Okay. So again, he needs to be able to strike that tackle as he's going down, and then my hands can go to that H. But there's no way my inside linebacker should be getting touched so quick because we should be striking. Okay, here's another clip. Same thing again, 58. He was a good ball player for us. Okay. Okay, so he doesn't strike as much, but he still gets enough separation. You know, he's just kind of sumo taking back there, but he controls his gap and owns that gap. Again, my defensive end, this guy's kind of setting and kind of giving him a pass read, not giving him a good read. So I really want him to kind of make sure that he's striking a little bit harder. But again, football's not a perfect game. He's still able, he sees it, he's able to come in and make a play. Bam, own your gaps. Okay, so coach point for the linebackers again, basic fundamentals, eyes fast to finish. Okay, we're going to read guards to the backfield. We're going to be one gap plus players. So we're going to own our gap, and then the rest is ours. So we secure our gap, and the rest is ours. Okay, again, if we get any type of ISO or lead, we're going to attack the inside half of the lead blocker. And again, we're going to be setting the front strength. We're going to go tight end. We're going to go to a sniffer back, unbalanced, most receivers. It depends on your game plan that week. Okay, so again, there's still spill players, and they're trying to make it bounce. Okay, so again, our linebackers, both linebackers make their reads. Okay, again, they see motion, they see toss, guards reach blocking, so it's a toss. Like they treat it like their outside zone, obviously. They're running downhill, so they secure their gaps, make sure it's not threatened. You even see 50. He's tracking that near hip. He sees a little cut. He stops. He chops his feet. This is the exact drill that we work. I'll talk a little bit about in our tackle circuit. Getting a good angle tackle and making a play. That's a great job. My end gets pinched in there. He was a good kid, but he probably shouldn't have played much on Fridays, but it's okay. Football's an imperfect game. But again, he does a good job. You know, even the strong safety, the clean player he's fighting, he kind of gets hooked inside. But, you know, he ends up fighting it, and there's no way that ball's getting outside of him. Pursuit, pursuit, pursuit. The corner even gets in. He made sure that the ball was not being thrown. Came down to make a play. All right. So, you know, coaching points for the safeties, okay? You're the clean the spill player or the force player, depending on how you want to teach it. Again, I'm going to teach clean the spill because it sticks with kids a little bit better. So, again, their basic fundamentals, stance, eyes, hands, and finish. Okay, again, we're going to read the in man on line of scrimmage. And, again, for the RPOs, I'm just going to say slow to go, but when you know, go. Because when they get a down block, in old football, without the development of RPOs, that means it's a run and I can get downhill. But as that apex player, that guy that's in conflict, now we don't want to give a clear read. So these guys will move. Okay, they know that their job is to clean the spill. They know that's not going to happen right away. Even on some fast flow, if it's a toss, if it's anything like that, you're going to have time for that ball to get to you before you could even clean that spill. So you could hesitate. You could pause. You can move pre-snap, all that stuff. Slow to go, but when you know, go. Okay? So, again, we're going to strike our hands. Do not get blocked by these diva wide receivers. All they want to do is wear gloves and look pretty. Do not get blocked by those dudes. If you get blocked by them, there's no way you can play defense. Okay? Your outside arm is always free, and they're always coming. One of the most difficult and underrated formations to stop in the game of football is 2x2, spread or doubles. Okay, everybody talks about how Trey gives you different 2x2. When you run the 4-2-5, gives you the most difficulties. Because either you're leaving number 2 uncovered, or you're going to hit that will out. And now you got a 5-man box to run against, and you got a 4-3 look. Okay, so again, you got to make sure you know that those guys are coming from the outside of blocking. So you have to really rep, and there's even drills where I rep in their peripheral vision so they can see the whole field. And again, this doesn't change no matter what. Free safety, you run that daggum out. Okay, so we got a little film. Okay, this is not one of our best guys doing this, but still the point remains. He fights. That ball's not getting outside of him. I'd want him to get a little bit tighter to the top of the cup, but that dude's fighting off 2 blocks. They're not great blocks, but he's still fighting them, and he's doing his job. That's a good effort, and he's like the 4th or 5th dude off the bench. So, again, that's a great job. It's not pretty, but football's not always pretty. So he ends up fighting hands, make sure that ball's not coming, make a play. Great job. Okay, again, coach points for corners, cover. Next question. Okay, so these are just some clips of our team defense in a whole. Okay, quarterback, where they're running a little quarter power read stuff. Okay, everything is cleaned up on the inside. Everything is cleaned up on the inside. They're trying to run quarterback read, power read. Just a bunch of chaos. Corners coming down and making a play on the quarterback. Love it. Again, spill. 58 ain't got a chance to make that because he's 350. But again, he's doing his job. And everybody's rallying to the football. Same team right here. Okay? Look at that strong safety. He's getting a little arc. He's going to use his hands. He's going to make sure that ball does not go outside of him. And I'm actually okay with him even turning his shoulders a little bit here. He doesn't always have to keep his shoulders square. Again, we're spilling. They read. They're going to get downhill. The linebacker even takes on the inside half. He takes on the outside half of the man. I'd prefer him to take on the inside half, but that dude became a really good ball player at 5'8", 185. He was probably one of the best linebackers in the district. And we play in a good district with good linebackers. Okay, so again, it's all about pursuit. Defensive end getting into play. This is really a defensive tackle right here, 75. But he strikes, keeping that outside arm free, pressing that half man, makes a beautiful play. Great film, getting you props in the film session. So again, these are just some of the tackling circuits that we do. We got tracking the hip. Everybody does that. Okay, again, you know, the player is going to be right here. He's going to come. He's going to sprint like he's got the ball. Chop. He breaks down. You break down. I break down. You break down. I break down. You break down. I break down. Finish. Okay, always tracking the near hip, the back hip. Okay, again, we got angle tackle. Here's the sideline. It's also teaching them how to use the sideline as a defender. We're going to be ready. We're going to put our shoulder on the thigh board. We're not going to put our head across. Ever since I saw the hawk tackle stuff, I've been a changed man. I'll never teach across about tackling again. Okay, I'd rather give up an extra point, couple points. I'd rather give up another touchdown a game than have a kid put his head across in a tackle, somebody running full speed. And I did it as when I played. Okay, so again, they're going to work here. Ball carrier's right here. He's going to step up. We're going to track this back hip of the ball carrier. We're going to strike and we're going to drive through. I even want them driving through the sidelines, teaching them that. Don't stop because you're on the sidelines and assume that they're just going to go out of bounds. You want to drive through the sidelines. And again, hawk roll, same thing. It's kind of the adaptation of the old get fit tackle. They're going to be on their knees. They're going to be, their shoulder. They're going to be on their knees. The other guy's standing up. I'm going to give my shoulder on the thigh board. I'm a wrap, roll. Wrap, squeeze, roll. Hawk roll tackle or wherever you're at. Call it a leopard tackle. That's where I was, whatever it is. Okay. The tackle circuit number 2, these are really fun circuits. Recoil, you got the ball carrier, you got the tackler. Ball carrier is going to step across one way. Tackler's got to hit, take 2 steps, drive his feet, get fit, get back, recoil. Bam, now we're going to the other side of the back. Get hit, get fit, 2 feet, drive. Okay, get back. 3rd recoil, now we're going to drive for 5. We're going to drive for 5 yards on that 3rd hit. But again, they're learning how to get their body in position. They're learning how to make contact, be physical without being dangerous. Okay? Number 2, again, it's the same track and fit drill. Doing the same thing. I will do that track, the hip drill, everything, because a lot of the reasons people miss tackles is not because their inability to make the tackle, it's their eyes. your eyes are all over the place. It's like trying to shoot a basketball without looking at the hoop. You're looking at the corner of the backboard. You're looking at the bottom corner of the backboard. You're looking at the top corner of the white where everybody banks it off of. If your eyes ain't right, you ain't gonna be able to make the play. And again, turnover circuit. All these are really dependent on who. Everybody could do a secure and rip drill depending on the position. You could always do secure and rip with a scoop and score. You could do a punch. You could do a tomahawk chop, whatever it is, uppercut, whatever you want to do. You can mix it in there with one person securing the tackle, the other person's ripping at the ball. The other one is, again, it's a high point drill. And now this one you got to change depending on who you have. I'm not going to have my defensive tackles and defensive ends doing back pedals and 0, 45, and 90-degree angles, high point in the football. They're going to have to get off in their stance, recognize screen, get back, and then I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it depending on which position is going. That's at that circuit. And again, the tackle ring, scoop and score, I'm going to put the ball in the tackle ring. First person is going to tackle it with a clean hawk form tackle, not diving for it. Make it legitimate. Okay, they're going to actually fit up, tackle, punch the ball out that's in the ring, and then the other guy gets to scoop it up and go score. Make sure that you're coaching it all up. Yeah, but again, I try to keep it not too long because I know my ADHD will kill me if I stay too long listening. So again, this is my email, coachkelley2010@gmail.com. My Twitter is there, @CoachKelley, CHHS. And again, like I talked about, I wrote the book. It should be self-published out through Amazon within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, so just make sure y'all are on the lookout for Simplified 425. Follow me on Twitter for updates. Go ahead and email me if you have any questions. It may drive my wife crazy, but for the most part, I'm here to talk to football coaches anytime that y'all need. So just go ahead and let me know, and I appreciate Coach for letting me talk to y'all.